Hi everyone, welcome to Kelly's Kitchen. What's better on the fall day than smelling apples and cinnamon? Well, today we're gonna make some apple butter. Come on in. So for our recipe, we're gonna need 7 pounds of chopped apples. I have a variety of apples here. Some of my apples do have a little blemishes on them. We don't spray our apples. I don't want any pesticides on them, so that's why they have that, but I'm perfectly fine with that. It's totally up to you, whatever kind of apples you use. I prefer kind of the sweeter varieties because I don't add sugar to this recipe. It's very simple ingredients. What we're gonna do is get these apples chopped up, throw them in our crock pot, and then we have some ground allspice, some cinnamon, and water. Get these going for 12 hours, and then we'll have apple butter. So we have our apples chopped up in our crock pot ready to go. I did forget to mention salt. We are gonna add a pinch of salt, so I'm just gonna do that right now. I have some Himalayan sea salt here. That should be good. Now we're gonna add our allspice. We need 2 teaspoons of allspice. So we're gonna sprinkle that in there. Kind of get it all over. 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And I am using the Ceylon cinnamon. I can put a link on that down below. And then our 1 cup of water. I'm gonna give this a quick mix. And we'll mix it again throughout the cooking time, at least once. That should be good. Then we'll close the lid, put this on low for 12 hours. And again, I am gonna check it at least midway through. Make sure it's not burning on the edges or anything. Otherwise, we're just gonna let this go and the house is gonna smell wonderful after this. I will get my jars ready also. I'll get those washed and dried so that they'll be ready to go so we can fill our jars. This would be a great recipe to give for family and friends for Christmas, or if they come over for Thanksgiving. Let's get this cooking. Our apples have been cooking for about 9 hours. We're gonna open them up, take a look at them. They are breaking down wonderfully. I did use a really soft apple in this recipe. So if you used Gala or like a Honeycrisp, you still may need to let them go a little bit. These are actually breaking down really nice. So I'm ready to get my immersion blender out here, and we're going to get this all mixed up. So just be extremely careful as you're doing this. Make sure the blender is all the way down into the apple butter so that it doesn't squirt out at you at all. If you don't have an immersion blender, you could scoop this into a mixer and do it that way. Again, just be very careful because it's extremely hot. We're just gonna keep doing this until we get it the consistency that we want. You can take your spoon also then and make sure that everything's all nice and mixed in and that there aren't any larger pieces floating around in there. I'm just gonna go around one more time with my immersion blender just to make sure we got everything the way we want it. Apple butter should be nice and smooth. Okay, that looks good. I'm happy with that. It's thickening up really nicely. Now what we're gonna do, when we put the lid back on, we're gonna actually, this one has a hinge, so I'm taking it off, and we're just gonna turn it sideways a little bit so that we can get the rest of the moisture out of there. We're gonna let it cook for about another 2 hours. It's gonna be up to you, 2 to 4 hours you can go, depending again on how thick you want your apple butter to be. We'll be back in 2 hours and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so our apple butter was going for another 2 hours. So I'm taking the lid off. I'm gonna give it a mix just to see what the consistency is. And for me, this looks really good. I really like this consistency, so I'm gonna be done at this point. And now I'll be able to get it put in our jars. We have a couple options for jars. You can do different sizes, obviously. And then there's also these two. If you saw in one of my previous videos, if you are going to freeze this apple butter, which you can do for like 3 months, make sure you use the one with the smooth shoulders, the flat shoulders, and not the one that has the hump like that. These don't freeze. These do. So just make sure you notice that. So like for this one, I am freezing these because I want this for Thanksgiving. So I am not going to use this one. I'm only going to use the flat ones. This one I will keep for home, the bigger one. And then the small ones I like to use for family and friends to give to them for a little treat. We have our funnel here. We're going to get these filled up. And then we're going to let them cool before you throw them in the freezer. You don't want to put them in the freezer when it's too hot. You could also can these. And if you wanted to do that, you would obviously, after you wash and dry these, you would put them into your boiling water on the stove and make sure that they're nice and hot before you fill them with this hot liquid. That's a great option. You would then just process them for 5 minutes and then they'll last longer. You could take them for Christmas, give them for birthday gifts, whatever. This is a great recipe to give away. I love apple butter. You can put it on oatmeal, yogurt, toast, pancakes, so many options. It has great flavor. Again, no sugar. So excited about that. I really hope you guys give it a try. I'm going to get them filled up, labeled, let them cool off before I throw them in the freezer, and they're ready to go. I appreciate all the views, likes, and comments. Have a great day.